Hey guys, welcome to my live. So at this point, I'm just checking to see if you see me looking to the side, it's because my laptop is there and that's where everything is, including questions and whatnot. So when I started up this year, I decided Rain Come Sunshine, I'm going to do a monthly live stream. So this live stream is actually meant to be for February, but because February is a very short month, it just made sense to do it this weekend, right after the end of the month. And I said, you know what, I will challenge myself. I will go live and, whatever happens, happens. So I posted a poll earlier in the week to find out what people would like me to discuss during the live stream. And most of you said ACCA Q&A. So I decided, you know what, I'll take this as a chance to do a live recording. And if anyone has questions, you can raise them with me. But you know what, at least the video will be available afterwards for everyone to watch. I can see there is someone who has joined. So if at any point you can't hear me properly or you can't see me, any technical difficulties, let me know. It would be nice to know where you're joining from. So let's engage with the chat. That's the whole point of recording this live, to be able to hear from you and of course pop your questions in during the live. But what I'll actually cover to begin with, just to kick this off, are the questions that you have been asking on my videos. I also put a Q&A on my Instagram. So I will go through all those questions, time allowing. I don't want this live to be too long because it's a Sunday afternoon. I know you're relaxing, I'm relaxing as well. So yeah, let's get this going. So it would be nice if you can say where you've come from, just so that I can know that also I can be heard properly. But I will kick on with the first question. From my videos, I've just filtered on all the questions that I've not answered yet, just so that, this is relevant and it's not something I've repeated in my videos or in my responses to you. So I can see here, Ali Pabai asked 5 hours ago. Lucky Ali gets his question answered right away because I do have a backlog of questions, and that's why I wanted to do more of this live so that you don't think that, you know what, I'm not interacting with you, I'm not responding on time. Let's just use this opportunity to get that out of the way. So Ali asked, hi, are all ACCA exams CBE based? So I know in the UK they are, all the way from applied knowledge through to strategic professional. They did bring them in slowly. So they started out with the initial foundational level type of exams being computer-based. But now even the advanced papers, the advanced professional papers are all CBE based in the UK. I am not too sure if this is the case across the world. So the best thing to do is to go on my ACCA website. When you're going to try and book an exam, you will see what type of exams are available. Is it paper-based, CBE? So the ACCA website is the best place for everything. As you're joining, definitely let me know where you're joining from. I'm actually recording this from my office in Birmingham here in the UK. It would be nice to know where you're joining from. Just so we can keep this interactive. I don't want to just read off the questions from my YouTube channel, though I don't mind doing that because I know this video will be available for people to watch afterwards, but it would be nice to hear from you as well. So I can see another question here where it was just off one of my other videos, and SS, that's what they're saying, the name of their YouTube profile. They're saying, thank you very much. God bless you. I am jobless right now. That's why it's a little bit hard to take ACCA. I decided to start learning myself as much as I can. Do I need to have work experience during the studying? So you don't need to have work experience while you're studying. You can study straight away. But for you to be chartered, so that's when you're done with your exams, you will need to show 3 years work experience in a relevant role. So if you can do them in parallel, that's the best. So while you are studying, try and find an internship, a work experience opportunity, just for you to start ticking off some of those performance objectives. And I do have a video that covers this in detail, but just to answer your question, no, you don't need to have work experience during the studying. You can do it sequentially, but the quickest way to get qualified is to get your work experience while you're studying. Then that way, when you're done with your exams, you have your work experience to hand and you can apply for to become a member. All right. Another question from Kosarachi of just Kosarachi. Hello, good day. Would like to just begin my ACCA journey. Currently an accounting student in my 3rd year, but please, ma'am, I need advice if I should start as in school or wait till I finish my undergrad. So, Kosarachi, you'd like to start your ACCA journey. It really depends in terms of when to start it. It really depends on what you can take on. There is no right time to start. You know yourself. You know how much workload you have, especially if you're in your 3rd year. That's probably the time. I don't know which country you're in. So, but in the UK, accounting is 3 years. So I'm assuming in your final year, and that's the hardest year to anyone who is in university, regardless of the course that you're doing. Your final year is usually a tough year. So personally, I probably wouldn't start ACCA in your final year. But if 3rd year is not your final year, then maybe you can get started, especially the initial papers are not that, that's F1 to F3. I know they've changed how they reference them, but the applied knowledge papers are not tough. They are papers that you can actually do in one session. But then it really depends on your circumstance. Mental health is everything. You know what you're dealing with. In case you're also working on the side as a hustle, you know what you can take on. Start it when you know you can actually persist through, because the worst thing, many people start the ACCA journey, they take a pause and it's very hard to come back. So you want to start it when you can actually, when you have a plan, you know how many exams you'll be taking per year, just so that you can progress and ensure that you're done in the timeline that you want to be done. All right. So we have some CISA questions. Today's video, I'm focusing on ACCA, but then CISA we can definitely pick up and maybe in the next live stream. So I'll be doing this monthly just to address any questions that are there. You can ask them live, you can ask them right now, or submit them in advance. So that's why I'm working through some questions that you've posted on my videos or in the Q&A, but feel free to ask them during this session live as well. Okay, so I can see Audrey Tinotenda asked, thank you. I'm starting my ACCA journey in January. I'll be starting at the foundational level. Congrats, Audrey. So that's more a comment and not a question. Congrats on starting your ACCA journey. It's not an easy journey. It's one that it tested my character, it built my character. So congrats on getting that started. There are people who start with the foundational levels. I started with, the first qualification papers, which is F1. So it really just depends on whether you have the prerequisites. But normally, if you're able to join a university because you've done your A-levels, then you can start ACCA. And you can find those prerequisites on the ACCA website. Okay, let me know where you're joining from. It would be good to know who's in the audience. So I can see here Mohammed is saying, hi, Belinda, I'm sharing you today ever story ACCA exam. I wrote that story, one of my friends for ACCA. Okay, sorry, Mohammed, I didn't understand that. I'll progress to the next one. Are there some institutions that offer ACCA program in Kenya and Rwanda? I think you're in Kenya. So Omar, actually, I am Kenyan by ethnicity, but I'm not located in Kenya. But I do believe, I'm assuming most educational institutions will have at least a website so you can check. But I'm guessing you're interested in actual colleges, you want to go in person. I know Strathmore offers these courses, like academic courses in ACCA. But then if you don't mind online tuition providers, it removes the geographical barrier. So you can look at online tuition providers, Kaplan, BPP, even Viva Tuition, who I did a webinar with them the other day. They are online, they provide online tuition, so you can look into that. I self-studied, so I just purchased the study book and the Q&A manual and walked through all the papers that way. So I haven't gone really through institutions. That was just my preferred route. I can see here Chwalez Sheikhs Hi there, would like to buy ACCA Applied Knowledge materials from you, please. How do I go about it? I don't think I have any ACCA material with me. I recently moved into my house, so maybe one of my boxes has some leftover study material. But you'd probably have a better shot checking on Amazon. So I used to get my material from Amazon, secondhand material. But if you want, brand new, you can find still on Amazon, but you can also buy straight from the tuition providers. So the main advice I have is the tuition provider that you choose needs to be ACCA approved. ACCA usually does quality checks on how the syllabus has been designed on the material, just to make sure it covers everything that's expected for you to be ready for the exam. So as long as they have the badge that the ACCA approved, then I would recommend them. And also it's down to your preference. Do you prefer reading actually paperback material, or do you prefer watching videos? And also your financial situation, because I personally think if you were to go and a lecturer were to teach you and you have even revision classes, like the classroom setup, that's probably the best. But in my case, I was funding my own ACCA, so that wasn't an option. I wasn't going to break the bank because of ACCA. And it worked. I'm qualified now. So self-studying also works. It just really depends on your circumstance. All right. I can see here Michael has said, I just watched your video to the end and it inspired me, as I am under self-study too. I began ACCA this year and started it with FIA, but I started failing from the beginning, and I'm still on introductory FA1 and MA1. I failed for first time in my life by getting 46% in FA1, then 48% and 40% in MA1, and I shall be resitting this month. And so this was 5 months ago. Sorry, I'm getting to this now. And I shall be resitting this month and for FA1 and MA1 next month. And from the practice questions for like 4 chapters now, I have been getting 100%. All right. It's a very long comment. So is that progress considered to you to really pass? And I can see people actually responded to him. So 2 people responded to Michael. Michael, I would say it does happen. First of all, please do not be discouraged. It does happen. Failing in ACCA is something you would realize is very normal. Hi, Demin. Thanks for joining. I'm actually, if you see me looking to the side, it's because I'm looking at my laptop. That's why I can see any comments. Shout out to you, Demin. Let me know where you're joining from. So in terms of Michael's situation, the best thing I think I would recommend in this case is to just, because it seems like you're doing practice questions, but are you doing an actual mock exam? And also when you go through because I'm really wondering if you, like the level of your study material, because it looks like when you do your practice questions, you pass, but then you fail the exam, which makes me wonder, are the practice questions representative of what would actually come in the exam? And that's why I'm asking, have you done a full-on mock exam where, it takes the full structure? Because you could be passing the simple chapters where only a few questions come from, but the heavy chapters that will make up majority of the exam, you're not covering. So I think I need more information to be able to help you out, Michael, but I know you put this 5 months ago, so hopefully things have worked out since. Yeah, I'll just respond there to ask you to watch this video so that I can find out your latest status. But sorry for that. Hold on, it's a long journey and it will not be easy. I can see a comment, shout out from Techie B. Hi, thanks for doing this live. Thank you. It's actually very daunting to record live, to be honest, because video, you're just talking to yourself, you make a mistake, you edit. But I just thought, you know what, let me have this forum out here for anyone to join in and ask their questions, because sometimes I don't get to the questions in the videos. And it's also good to see, who watches my videos, get to interact with the family. So Demin has asked, ACCA versus CISA, which is harder? I would say CISA is easier from the perspective of it's only one exam, first of all. It's a long exam, 4 hours, but it's one exam. ACCA is just very daunting. It's the fact that, okay, the fast papers are not hard. So applied skills, not hard. Applied knowledge, not hard. Applied skills starts getting harder. Strategic professional, something else. It's just the whole journey of it. It needs you to apply those principles to real life. You're given business case type of questions. So it really does need you to not only know the knowledge, but see how it applies, because it's really building you to become a professional, an accounting, business professional, finance professional. So it's more than just the theory. CISA is theory. All the questions are multiple choice. You do have the element for you to become CISA certified. You need to show your professional experience, but it's also not as thorough as ACCA. So even experience, you just need to show you have experience in certain domains. So CISA has 5 domains. And as long as you have experience in one of them, that's enough for you to get certified. So from my experience, I definitely suffered more with ACCA. And the suffering wasn't because of how technical ACCA is. Actually, CISA is more technical if you look at it theoretically, but ACCA was just more tiresome. It was just more, it needed more than just knowing. It needed more from you as an individual. So yeah, I would say ACCA is definitely harder in terms of you finally getting ACCA qualified compared to CISA. Thanks. Keep the questions coming so that you know you've tuned in, get what you need from this, because you know you're using your time, which I do really appreciate. So definitely make the most of this. Ask your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right. So I can see another question from you, Demin. Am I currently in IT audit? No, I'm now in IT strategy. I used to be in IT audit, though my title wasn't called IT audit. My team wasn't necessarily called IT audit. It was called technology risk. But yes, I was essentially in IT audit because depending on the engagement, we were in the role of external auditor as an IT specialist, or in other engagements, it was more assurance focused or advisory. So we've been brought in when the client has had bad feedback from their auditor the year before, so they want to fix things, want to fix their control. So it really depended on the engagement. Sometimes we were in transformations just to make sure that whatever tool is being implemented is compliant, especially if it was going to be a SOX system. I can go on and on about it because I was in that role for 5 years, but now I've moved to strategy just because I wanted to try something new. Yeah, thanks for your questions. So I will progress through some of these other ones, but keep the questions flowing. So I can see here, are there exemptions for ACCA students from Nobukosi? Yes, there are ACCA exemptions, and you can find them all on the ACCA website, especially when you're enrolling as a student. You will be asked all these questions about your education background. So based on that, maybe your degree was something that was in business. You can get some exemptions. All right. I need to work in Kenya. I'm in ACCA Level 1, so that's from Nahabwe. All the best. Something I'd say, especially if you want to work in an accounting or, you know, like a professional level that needs you to be ACCA accounting certified. Just check what the regulations are for that country, because sometimes in addition to being ACCA certified, you might need to do some local things just so that you're recognized and allowed to sign off. So it's just worth checking that, you know, the roles that you're looking at getting into, ACCA is enough. Most of the time it is, but sometimes locally they might need you to do extra things. So it's just worth having a look at that. If you're not good at math, you can't do ACCA. I remember actually even doing a Q&A specifically addressing this one. So I think that one should actually be signed off as it has been addressed. You don't need to be good at math to do ACCA. Personally, I love math, I won't lie, but you don't need to be good at math to do ACCA. Very few of the modules are actually mathematical, and the few ones that involve financial statement reporting, most of them, there's already the templates there. It's more working through the logic because you'll be presented with different data, and it's for you to figure out where to place the data so that it balances out and you're working out the right thing. And as long as you show your calculations properly, then even though the final statement that is not the right one and you don't have the final figure, you show you're working through. So it's not about being good at math, it's about actually understanding how the principles of how it works in terms of the reporting. Philip here says, obviously ACCA exam has been a pain in my ass. I shouldn't have said, I don't know if I'll be called out, this video will be called out for that, but they're probably saying the truth. It is a pain in the behind to do ACCA. But that won't bother me any longer. I have gotten my license already, thanks to you, Mr. James. God bless you more, because you made it possible for me. I think they're giving a shout out to someone specifically. But yes, doing ACCA is a struggle. It's not a lie, but it is doable because we're here now and we're speaking from the other end. So I can tell you for sure it is doable. And if you are watching this live, make sure to drop a comment, ask any questions that you want addressed in this. Yeah, I would really like to hear from you. Okay, so I can see here James Ronaldo is saying study is okay, but do you apply ACCA steps in real life? I mean, have you ever used accounting software? Very good question. I have not used accounting software because I've never taken an accounting role. I am a consultant, so I barely use ACCA for signing off any. I mean, I'm not even partners are the ones who sign off reports, but I'm not in any audit, financial audit type of role. In fact, when I was in audit, it was more from a technology side. So I don't use it directly, but a lot of what I use, especially, is from what I got in the strategic professional papers. Even that, just being aware of how business works, how, because at the end of the day, every business wants to make profit. So they have to report to their investors. They have to publish. It's a legal obligation to report on their financial performance during the year. So knowing what is important to a company helps when you are advising them, because you could be there trying to make a fuss of something that's honestly not material. So just having that exposure to what is important for a company is honestly, it really brings a difference to how you do your work. So it really depends on what role you're thinking of getting into. But honestly, I have not done any accounting. Probably might apply to my own personal things when I start my own, because at least I will need to hire an accountant. I can see some questions have come through. Actually, I forgot to do this. I should have been highlighting them so that you can see your questions. Sorry, Demin, because I know you asked yours earlier, but I had addressed your question on which is harder, and summary of it is ACCA is harder. Am I currently in IT Audit? No, I answered that. So I can see, sorry, I do not want to butcher your name, but just going through the question that you've answered, just wanted to say inspired me to self-study, started my journey last year, Feb, from F1. So far, I've completed 6 papers. Wow, congrats. So that means you are in your that applied skills level, and you have about is it about 5 papers you have remaining? Or 4, about 4 more before you move to strategic professional. Well done on that. And I'm so happy that my videos have really helped you. Sorry, I did not want to butcher your name. I have also a very tough surname, and living in the UK, I just hate it when people butcher my name. So don't take it personally, please. I just do not want to. But yeah, really, congrats to you. It is going to get harder, but you are on the right track. The fact that you even finished 6 papers already shows that you are on it. And depending on your circumstances, as it gets harder, just take on what you can. I do recommend that you take at least more than 1 exam in each session, just so that even if you have to resit one of them, you'll most likely have passed the other. It's unlikely to fail both. So yeah, all the best with your journey, and let me know how I can help in my future videos as well, and also in a Q&A like this. So I'm seeing another comment from Nkomo, if you don't mind me referring to you with your surname. I'm taking PM this week, Wednesday, and I have to say this paper hits performance management. And I have to say this paper hits different. Any last minute advice since you took APM? I actually really enjoyed performance management. I think it's because I'm in consulting, so a lot of what we do is helping the client optimize, on their costs, or just, organize their institution better. So I really enjoyed it personally. I would say with performance management, because it's very, it's not a quantitative paper. So it's not very straightforward like a reporting paper. So I would encourage you to practice, do at least, don't walk into that exam without doing at least a full mock paper in exam conditions where you do it within the timeline. And sometimes you might not have 3 hours to spare. I can't remember if performance management, when it's, if it's still 3 hours long, it might be 2 hours. But you might not have that amount of time available to do a mock paper from start to end. So what you can do is you can prorate. You can do a question, and after you've divided basically how many marks per minute should you be doing, just try and prorate and do a question within exam conditions. But you do need to do a practice questions, as many as you can, and mainly from like a mock paper, so that you're not doing just one type of question, you're balancing it out based on how it will come in the exam. Because you do need to see what they're looking for. You could be understanding the theory of it, but then how you apply it in a question could be different, because it's really down to judgment. It's a very qualitative paper, so I would encourage you to revise as much as possible through questions. All right, I can see from Sagar, hi, you are doing great work. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also thank you for supporting this channel and coming to this live, because this is nice. I enjoy seeing, hearing live feedback from you, what you're thinking about, the videos I post. Yeah, I can see here, does your ACCA qualification help you in getting into IT audit? So when I started ACCA, actually started when I was in uni, but I didn't do it because of the role I was going to get into it. I was doing it because I was going to do it anyway. But in terms of helping me get into IT audit, CISA is actually more relevant for that, because it's focused on IT audit and the foundational knowledge you need to know in IT. I would say ACCA helps in that IT audit feeds into financial audit. So it's good to have that big picture of how everything then ties in together. But if you're looking for the short-term certification that can get you into IT audit, CISA is more like it. All right, I can see another question from Sagar. I'm working in IT audit, but I'm the only one who has done ACCA in my team. My manager asked me, what is ACCA? I feel ACCA is not valued in IT audit. That is your manager. I'm very surprised that they don't know what is ACCA. I'm sure the audit team, of course, the financial side of things, they definitely know what ACCA is, because they all have to be qualified. Maybe it is not valued now because of your level, but as you progress through, as you become maybe a director, or as you become a partner, you will need to understand the whole picture. So having it in the bank is useful. You might not see its value now, but it will definitely show the more you grow in your levels as you go up. That's my opinion on that. Yeah. All right, I can see, hi Obed, nice to hear from you. Can one get a job with a partly qualified ACCA, as in the person now about to start with part 2 papers? Yes, you can. In fact, you can get a job even without ACCA. It's just ACCA helps you, set yourself apart from others. Some jobs, especially a lot of training jobs, will pay for you to be qualified anyway, so they are expecting you not to have. But do not stop yourself from applying to jobs just because you're not qualified. It will just reflect in your salary, because once you become qualified, you can command, you should command an increase in your salary, because qualified versus not qualified is very different in terms of even the value you bring to your team. So do not stop yourself from applying. You can apply to any role. In fact, most of them just need you maybe to have gone to uni as a bare minimum, at least here in the UK. But yes, please go ahead. Once you do qualify, maybe that's the time to change your job. And if they're not increasing your salary, because now then you're even more marketable in the industry that you're in. Okay, thank you so much for those questions. That's really, really nice. It has definitely helped sustain this conversation. I will go back to some, but I'll cover just a few more just so that this live doesn't end up being too long. But if you do have any other questions, feel free to pop them in before I wind up. All right, so I can see, let me just check, from James Ronaldo was the last question there. I can see another question here. I have recently enrolled for ACCA alongside my economics degree. I am inspired by Selna I wish I could contact her and we share more. So I will reach out. This from Sheba. I'll reach out to Selna. So Selna was one. This is actually an interesting story. So Selna actually watches my channel. She was just like you in terms of she loved my videos and she reached out to me via email and she was like, I would love actually to join you on one of your videos and share my experience, which I really admired that confidence. And it's something I would love to do again. If you would like to join me on maybe like next month's live, just to share your experience, also to inspire, because sometimes it's just more being relatable. Now that I'm not a student anymore, I might not be that relatable in terms of, upcoming exams, the pressure that comes with that. And of course, as time goes, the more I've been a member, the more I forget how tough it was. So I do want to keep that going in terms of that community where we support each other. And I'm more than happy to have you come on the live, share your experience, and even have, others come in and we support each other. That's what I would really want. That's what I wanted when I was studying. I was looking for a community and I found one online. So I would be more than happy to do that in the next live. Just reach out to me on email if you'd like to join and we can do this together. It's much easier, less daunting when I'm not looking like I'm speaking to myself and I have someone else there. So I'm more than happy to have that on my channel. All right, and the last one for today. I can't believe I've actually gone through all the unanswered questions on my videos, which is good. So I can see here from Khan, hey dear, please tell me about if you want to complete ACCA 2-3 level from UK BPP University, is it possible? So, as I said, I self-studied, so I'm not the right person to answer if BPP University is possible in terms of doing ACCA level 1, 2, and 3. But I believe it is because they are one of the biggest tuition providers. BPP and Kaplan are big in this game. But yeah, just go. I would encourage you to go on their website, just check and see. When I've gone, they will have, resources. For example, if you just want to buy the study material, I have used them, but I mainly use Kaplan. But also they do offer colleges, as you're referring, BPP University, so they offer college in-person tuition, but they also offer online videos. So I would encourage you to just go on there and see. My answer is yes, I do believe they do offer whatever level of ACCA they have, the relevant in-person or online material. They're not the only ones in the market though, so you have 13 exams to do trial and error across different tuition providers. You can try BPP, Kaplan, try other online providers and see what works for you, especially if financially that's not an issue. All right, I can see here, Sagar has asked, can you make a video on getting a job in UK for people outside UK? More than happy to. I actually have a lot of friends at work who have come directly from their country in Africa, some from the Caribbean, India, and they've come directly here. Of course, I studied here in the UK, so my route was a bit different. But yeah, I have them. I'll ask them if they would like to come on and share tips on what they did. Some of them were headhunted on LinkedIn, and it worked out to them actually coming here to the UK. So don't ignore those LinkedIn messages. But I'm more than happy to do that. Thanks for that. That's actually a good idea for an upcoming live. So I can see here from Obed, what about getting a visa sponsorship job in the UK with your partly qualified ACCA? So, this one, it depends now what the role you're going for. So if you're entry level, you will of course not need to be ACCA qualified, but that will help. But if you're going for a role that needs you to be ACCA qualified, then you probably won't be able to get it. So it really depends on what they're saying the minimum requirements are. Right now, it's easier to get visa sponsorship since Brexit because now even European people need to get visas. So it's not a big thing anymore. So even some of the lower level jobs are now, they're welcoming people who need visa sponsorship to apply to them. It's not the same as when I was graduating, because that time it was one of those things like, why do you need sponsorship? So it was a deterrent for me. It didn't work for me when I was applying for jobs, but now it's definitely much easier. So it looks like there is an open topic here on, getting a job here in the UK, and given that I'm international and I got a job here, it's probably something I can talk more about. So I'm more than happy to cover a series on that. Yeah, thanks for highlighting that. I can see here, I can take this as the last question. Is your ACCA qualification in the work you do day to day? If so, how? I'm guessing you're asking more around, is this useful? Thanks to Kiwi. So I think it is. And I think I'd mentioned it a little bit earlier on a question that was asked on my videos from, I think, Ronaldo. So it is not direct. Like if I sit down and say that, do I do reporting, accounting things? No, I don't. But I see its relevance in understanding like a client situation, because my job is very client facing. I got my previous role on my project where I was a cost model specialist because they saw I have ACCA. So it's just one of those things that it helps me come out of my shell of I'm a tech person. Like I'm able to take on more businessy roles because they have that confidence that, you know what, I have that understanding. But even if it's a tech role, I'm able to easily have a conversation with a business person where they can see, oh, I actually get it. Because there's definitely a big gap, and it's a gap that is nowhere close to being filled between business and IT. And a lot of the time, it's, business people are just thinking, these IT people, they're just taking money from us. They don't understand. There's a gap. They're like, why is the project so costly? Things like that. On the other hand, the IT people look at business like they don't understand. So just having that leg in both enables me to really stand out. I'm able to have easier conversations with the client. I'm able to tune my vocabulary to the right level depending on the audience, and I'm comfortable having conversations with both. So I would say for me, it has come out as a strength so far, but an indirect strength because I'm not really in a finance role. Hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, I think we can call it a day. It's been really enjoyable. I didn't know what to expect because I've not really had a live where I'm alone. Most of the lives that I've done, I've always had somebody else that I'm maybe interviewing. So this encourages me to do this again next month. So this is the year of putting myself out here, growing this channel, reaching out to you. So I'm looking forward to doing more videos for you, especially now that I'm noted the visa sponsorship and working in the UK. That's definitely something, a new series that I'm going to launch. Thanks for that idea. Have a good Sunday. Bye.